Hello, it's Brother Bill again, and today we're going to be talking about cast iron skillets. I would like to see if I could go to a flea market or to a thrift store or even a dollar store and see if I can find some cast iron skillets, and if that doesn't work, then I'll go buy a new one. Cast iron skillets is something that has been around a long time, and let's see what we can find. And welcome to Forgotten Skillz, Long Island. Well, as expected, I've been out on the road and I visited a flea market, I visited several thrift stores, and I visited several dollar stores. And as expected, I didn't find any used cast iron. Cast iron has been around for several hundred years, used by a lot of people. My mother had one. I'm sure just about everybody's mother had one at one point or the other. And they've been around for a long, long time. And I'd like to find an antique one someday, maybe a Griswold or something like that, something that would have quite a history to it. But as it winds up today, I bought a new one. So we're going to take you through the cleaning, the procedures, seasoning, and maybe even to the first cook. So stay aboard. Well, we've made it home, and here's the new lodge on the stove. And the really cool thing was that it was less than I thought it was. Marked on the shelf, $14.86, came up to $16.16 with tax. Not too bad. So we're going to take these things out. It has a little rubber cement on the back. Take this Made in USA sticker off. We're going to give it a quick wash, soap and water, and then we're going to put it on the stove here to dry. Then we're going to bake it for a while. Give it a quick wash with soap and water. And once this gets seasoned and get it the way we want it, we're not going to be using soap. Only a little plastic scraper and regular clear water. Okay, that looks really good. Give it a quick dry, and now we're going to put it onto the stove for a little bit to dry off. We'll give it the first season, and then we'll throw it in the oven for an hour or so. Okay, so it's on the stove now. Got it on very low heat, just enough to get the pan warmed. You know it's done when the handle starts getting hot. Not quite there yet. And today for the seasoning, we're going to be looking at two different ways here. Crisco oil, Crisco solid, which is what my mother used to use. And what people are telling me they're using now is avocado oil. And people like avocado oil because it has a high smoke point to it. So we'll see. I think I'm going to try the avocado oil. Okay, so the pan's been on there about 5 minutes. It's hot to the touch, but not too hot to grab. So I'm going to quickly move it over to my work area here, and we're going to use a little bit of avocado oil for this. Doesn't take very much. A lot of people recommend using a cotton cloth or the blue cloths from Walmart that are lintless. I haven't had any problems with just a regular white towel. And I'm not going to sand this down. I made the decision that we're going to go with the factory surface. This is one of the best factory surfaces I've seen on a large cast iron griddle. So I'm going to go with this. If it doesn't work out, I can always sand it off. And you want to sand, and you want to coat both sides. And while we were doing this, I have the Oven preheating to 350 degrees. We're going to put this in there for 350 degrees for an hour. Here's the results. It's been through 2 seasoning cycles. Once you season the pan, inside the oven upside down, 350 degrees for an hour. Give it a wipe out, let it cool down, re-season after it's hot, and then of course it's cooled down. So I think the pan looks a lot darker than what it once was when I bought it. So now the true test is to cook something with it. I have some bacon here that I'm going to put into that, and then maybe we'll do some eggs. Then we'll see how easy it is to wash and clean out. Okay, pan is hot and ready to go. A couple of tips I should mention with using cast iron is the first, to always heat up your pan. Never start with a cold pan. That's pretty much a guarantee to stick and have problems. And the second thing is never go in with cold food. Take the food out of the refrigerator, let it warm up a little bit. It doesn't have to warm up hot, just take the real cold off of it, and you can put it into the pan that way. Okay, let's get started making some bacon. Okay, so this is what was left in the pan afterwards. There are the eggs. Everything looks pretty good. It doesn't even look that much baked on, but we'll see. So we're going to do the little hot water trick. Okay, and that's what's left after a quick rinse and a wipe. Actually, it's not even fully wiped yet. So now we have to give it a final wash. We can put it on the stove to cure and dry, and recoat it, and we're done. Alright, well, we're getting to the very end. I just had to wipe the pan out, which is all I did, and it came super clean, especially for the first time using it. So I'm heating it up now to dry it. I'm going to give it a light coating of the avocado oil, and then I'm going to make sure it's put away safely. Well, as you can see, a lot of work goes into buying a new cast iron skillet and actually seasoning it and getting it ready for use. Each seasoning cycle takes about 2 hours, an hour to bake and then another hour to let it cool down naturally in the oven and redo it again. So if you're doing 2 cycles, you're looking at about 4 hours. But it's well worth it, and this is the way our parents, grandparents, and people before them cooked all the time. That was before steel pans and everything else. And I really like it. It tends to sear very well, and it holds the heat very well, and it's a very good system of cooking. So I hope you enjoyed this video on cast iron skillets and getting a new one ready for use. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody for our next video on Forgotten Skillz, Long Island.